Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Around the World in 80 Tours. Uh, it's been a while, hasn't it? Sorry about that. Was on a little bit of a hiatus, because, life gets a little bit busy, but we're gonna get right back into it. Uh, so here we are today in Pyramidan, which I did look up how to pronounce it before I started filming, which should probably be a standard practice, but, you know how it goes. But anyway, what this is in this is what's called a ghost town, which is pretty much what it sounds like. Uh, Ghost towns, they are places that have generally been uninhabited for a while, for one reason or another. But this one has a little bit of history to it, and as you see, there is a statue behind me. This is actually a statue of Mr. Lenin, a leader of the Soviet Union. So, let me pull up my data pad real quick and we'll have a look at what's going on around here. I probably should have had this ready already, but we're still getting our legs back from a little hiatus. Guess I was watching the intro to Batman 1989 last time I used this. Alright, let's see. Pyramidan. Alright. I did not, however, look up how to pronounce the words that are associated with this. We're going to skip the Google AI overview because it doesn't know what it's talking about a lot of the time. So we're going to come to our far more trusted source, Wikipedia, the one that anybody can jump on and edit. Alright, so here we go. Pyramidan, uh, that's all the different ways you can pronounce it, is an abandoned Soviet coal mining settlement on the Norwegian archipelago of Svalbard, which has become a tourist destination. Founded by Sweden in 1910 and sold to the Soviet Union in 1927, so about 99 years ago, Pyramidan was closed in 1998 and has since remained largely abandoned with most of its infrastructure and buildings still in place, the cold climate preserving much of the infrastructure left behind. Since 2007, there have been efforts to make it into a tourist attraction. The town's hotel was renovated and reopened in 2013. In the summer, there's a population of 6 caretakers. So imagine that. All of this, or at least that hotel, um, it only takes 6 people to maintain it. So, yeah. Sorry if this episode's a little bit dull. I've just been so tired lately. Tired all the time. The Lorekeeper isn't quite as energetic as he used to be. Alright. But real quick, before we get into much more of the history, we're gonna... Oop, that's the wrong button. We're gonna pull up our InstaWarp map and see what else we can find in this area. Just gonna set that aside for a minute. As you see, there's not a whole bunch of views available for us. We're kind of limited to just these little dots here, but we're gonna try to make the most of it. So before I warp us to our next spot, let me turn around a little bit here. Now we can get a better look at the statue. Worlds has it blurred out, I guess because it is technically somebody's face, even if it's just a statue. So Lenin's a little bit censored there. Here we see a group of tourists who we're just gonna blend right in with them for a little bit. Try to get a little bit of a closer look. Yeah, this has been here for a while. When I was looking around for a destination for this episode, this one was suggested to me, specifically because of this statue having been here since the town was populated. But like, look at the view around here though. The mountains and these old buildings. The kind of a winter setting. It's really beautiful. So let's take a look over here and see what else we can find. This is the entrance. I did see this earlier while I was previewing a little bit. This is the entrance, and that's pretty nice. I know I'm very articulate today and saying things are beautiful or nice, but you know how it is. But look at all this. Uh, we're gonna travel along these little dots here. Those are gonna be how we navigate for a bit. But you see this, definitely an industrial area, which this whole town is an industrial area, but it's a nice looking industrial area. As nice looking as an industrial area can be. Alright, so let's check out more on the map. Can we see the hotel? Okay. This just looks way more spooky. I like it. Like, this is giving kind of a horror movie aesthetic, or like apocalypse aesthetic. This is this is my style right here. Let's see, is there any lighting options to match my avatar here so that we can kind of get a darker look going on for a little bit? I promise this is an actual episode and not just me playing around with this, but yeah, there we go. Kind of helps me blend in a little bit. Man. See, I didn't know that this view was here. I was kind of under the impression that those little blips on the map were going to be all we had to work with, but this is definitely a new start. So let's see real quick using my temporal magnifying glass when this picture was taken. Let's see, that's July of 2022. So this is fairly recent. Very dark, very spooky. Love it. But let's not spend all our time over here. Let's let's look around a little bit more. And then I'll tell you more about what this place is from the article from the datapad. Man, that is just so cool looking. Amazing. But anyway, while we're over here, let me just go ahead and do a little bit more reading here. Let me just move this because the angle at which this picture was taken is a little bit crooked, so you'll have to forgive it if it's a little bit disorienting for just a bit. Pyramidan was founded by Sweden in 1910 and sold to the Soviet Union in 1927. It lies at the foot of, oh god, uh, Billefjorden on the island of Spitsbergen, and is named after the pyramid-shaped mountain with the same name adjacent to the town. The nearest settlements are Svalbard's capital, Long, good lord, Longyearbyen, some 50 kilometers or 31 miles to us Americans because we don't really know how to use the metric system and save our lives. To the south, Barentsburg, approximately 100 kilometers or 62 miles for us aforementioned Americans. Southwest, excuse me, and the small research community of, I feel like I shouldn't even try that, research community of Nyalesund, 62 miles to the west. In Soviet times, the population was mostly Ukrainian, consisting of miners from the Donbas and the staff from Volyn. Owned by the state-owned Russian mining company Arcticugul, which also owns the settlement of Barentsburg. Pyramidan had 2,500 inhabitants in the 1950s. Among its amenities were a cultural center with a theater, a library, art and music studios, a sports complex, and a cantina open 24 hours a day. I mean, sounds pretty good. I know things weren't necessarily pristine in the Soviet Union, but 24-hour cantina, well, maybe just a little bit. Uh, it also had a primary school, the northernmost monument to Vladimir Lenin, and the northernmost swimming pool were also found here, which we saw that statue of Lenin earlier. Well, we saw it as best as we could. In 1996, a charter flight for Arctic crashed on the approach to Svalbard Airport with the loss of 141 lives. Oh, man. Between 1955 and 1998, as much as 9 million tons of coal were extracted from the mine. Mining ceased on March 31st, 1998, and the settlement closed that same year. The last permanent resident departed on October 10th, leaving Pyramidan as a ghost town. Until 2007, the former settlement remained uninhabited and largely untouched. The building's interiors remained largely as they were when the settlement was abandoned. In 2012, Alexander Romanovsky became the first person to return to live in Pyramidan. He has since been joined by 5 others, which I assume are the caretakers that we talked about a little bit ago. Romanovsky, a musician and tour guide in the settlement, has called himself the world's most northern headbanger. Romanovsky has lived for years on his own in this abandoned town. But, like, imagine having this entire place to yourself, other than the tours and the people that you bring on to help you take care of the place. It's pretty amazing to think about. For some people, that sounds like a dream come true. For me, that sounds like a dream come true because I am not a social person. But for others, the isolation might be a little bit much. I know even as an antisocial person, isolation can be a little bit rough. So it helps to not be totally alone all the time, you know? But let's go ahead and take another look at what else is around. We'll come back to that here in a little bit. Uh, let's see. I wonder if we can get a better look elsewhere at that statue. Oh, okay. This is not bad. And these little dots around here don't necessarily do us justice for navigation, but they try. See, the statue and the darker aesthetic really does sell the ghost town vibe. And whoever took these pictures, magnificent work. That over there looks especially spooky. Especially when I use the magnifying glass here and it kind of blurs out a little bit. Definitely cursed. Just a little bit. Mildly cursed, you could say. By the way, I apologize if you can hear my bird in the background. He's very vocal today. I don't think my mic is picking him up, but... Alright. And you see, back when I intended to make this episode, like a month ago, I did look around here a little bit on my own, and there were pictures of a building on the inside that if I can find that, I'll be glad to show it. Let's see, is it over here? No, it's just this tourist group again. Yeah, I can't seem to find it on the map. What's this, though? I don't know where we are now. I'm guessing this is somewhere just outside of Pyramidan. This is someone's work area. There's a caption there that popped up just a second ago. We'll see what it said. Guess I have to zoom in a little bit more. Uh, this is the Adam Mickiewicz University Polar Station. So I guess it's some sort of survival slash research facility. I'm not sure. Which also, I do want to say real quick, please, please, please forgive me for mispronouncing so many things during this show and generally not knowing what I'm talking about sometimes. But the whole point of this show is meant to be exploration, so you and I learn together. That's kind of what I'm trying to do here. Let's see. We'll just go back here and start over, I guess. Yeah, this is about where we started, but let's click on this path here and see where it takes us. Oh, dang. This is just so cool looking. Alright, I guess we've seen pretty much all we're really going to be able to see without me fumbling around the map for 100 plus more years. So we'll go ahead and keep reading from our data pad. Enlarge that a little bit because I'm blind as a bat. I believe we left off here. On the 27th of August in 2019, the world's northernmost film festival was held in Pyramidan, dedicated to the 100th anniversary of Soviet cinema. So, guess quite a few film buffs were here at that time. In 2022, Russia announced new investment plans to support its presence in Pyramidan and Barentsburg. Preservation. Pyramidan is accessible by boat or snowmobile from Longyearbyen, either as part of a guided tour or independently. There's also the Pyramidan heliport. There are no restrictions on visiting this place, but visitors are not allowed to enter any buildings without permission, even if they are open. While most buildings are now locked, breaking into the buildings, vandalism, and theft of artifacts have become a serious threat to Pyramidan as it contributes to the accelerating deterioration of the buildings. Which, that's a good time to bring something up. Whatever you do, don't do things like that. When it comes to urban exploration, it is cool. It is cool to see everything, but it is illegal to mess with it. It's illegal to break in places. It's illegal to trespass on a lot of this land. The urban exploration motto is take only pictures and leave only footprints. Which, yeah, that's a pretty sensible way to approach it, because a huge part of urban exploration is learning about these places, observing the history that's left. It's not about stealing, looting, anything like that. You really, which I don't do urban exploration myself. This is about as close to it as I can get, because like I don't have the skills required to do that. I don't have the skills nor the desire to get arrested. So I'll pass on that, and I'll live vicariously through urban explorers on YouTube, like Exploring with Josh. He's pretty good. But yeah, it's very illegal, and you can get in a lot of trouble for doing things like that. Even like minuscule abandoned buildings that can have some pretty serious consequences. So there's our little disclaimer. Don't do that. Even if it seems safe, it's probably not. There might be people inside that are unhoused and they're living there. Um, there might be animals of the poisonous variety. You just don't really know, so it's best to be really, really careful. With that being said, let's continue. So let's see. Pyramidan is maintained as a tourist destination by Arctic travel company Grumont, a division of Arktikagol. I feel like it's getting worse every time I say it. Tours through many buildings are available upon request at the Pyramidan Hotel. See, so you don't even have to break in, you can just ask. The movie theater has been restored to a fully functioning movie theater, and movies may now be booked on request. An archive of over 1,000 Soviet films is preserved in the storerooms on the site. Since 2007, Arktikugol, Art, Art, never mind, has been renovating the hotel and upgrading the infrastructure, including building a new power station with diesel generators, in order to accommodate tourists in the old settlement. Up to 30 workers have been living in the settlement year-round to maintain the facilities and guide tourists visiting from Longyearbyen. As of 2013, the Pyramidan Hotel has been reopened and it is possible to stay overnight in Pyramidan. The hotel also houses the Pyramidan Museum, as well as a post office and a souvenir shop. There was a small hotel built of old shipping containers near the harbor, but this has closed since the hotel is now renovated and open for guests. There are no plans to renovate and reopen the whole settlement. So yeah, that's that. And basically what you see here is pretty much what you get, I guess. Um, but yeah, this is a very spooky place that has some history. As you saw from the dates, this place has been through, what was it? The First World War, the Second World War. Of course, there's the Russian-Ukraine conflict, which doesn't seem to show any signs of slowing down, unfortunately. Uh, this place has seen a lot, and it still sees a statue of Lenin, and these buildings have been through who knows what. But yeah, that's gonna be about it for this episode. I know that's kind of lackluster ending, but I'm running out of time here. I can't promise when my next upload's gonna be, because even this was kind of a spur of the moment episode to film. Um, I can't promise what else I'll be doing with the channel in the near future, if anything. Uh, I had plans. I had plans to make this a bigger thing. Uh, but you know, life doesn't always work out to exactly what you plan. But yeah, this is the Lorekeeper, and once again, I apologize for mispronouncing so many words, and I hope you can forgive me. Oh, there's my timer. There's my timer. Shut up. I hope you can forgive my mispronunciation and a slight ignorance. But you know, you'd rather have me mispronounce things than have me just do a whole AI voiceover, wouldn't you? I mean, don't even get me started on that, because that's been kind of a pet peeve of mine for a little bit now is AI voiceovers. But you know what? I'm not gonna get started on that. This is the Lorekeeper, and I thank you for watching. And in the episode description, you'll find a link to my Cash App. You can feel free to tip your tour guide if you want to. You absolutely don't have to, but I would appreciate it either way. And I appreciate your viewership. And if you're watching all the episodes and you're keeping up to know exactly how infrequently I upload, I appreciate it. I appreciate you subscribing, and I appreciate you watching and taking this journey with me. But I'm the Lorekeeper, and I will see you in the next video, whenever that will be. Thank you for watching. End transmission.